Icse 2012. Name the following. The phenomena by which living or dead plant cells absorb water by surface attraction. Imbibition. The phase of cardiac cycle in which auricles contract. Systole. The organ where urea is produced. Liver. The hormone that helps increase the reabsorption of water from kidney tubules. Vasopressin or ADH. Chemical substance produced by microorganisms that can kill or inhibit the growth of other microorganisms. Antibiotics. Fill in the blanks. BCG vaccine is used to kill immunity against poliomyelitis. A plant is kept in a dark cupboard for about 48 hours before conducting any experiment on photosynthesis to remove starch from the plant. A plant is kept in a dark cupboard for about 48 hours before conducting any experiment on photosynthesis to remove starch from the plant. এটা কিছুর একটা আনসার, এটা ফিলিং দ্য ব্লাঙ্কস আছে বোধহয় এটা কোনোতে, সেটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে না কিসে আছে। দ্য পার্ট অফ দ্য হিউম্যান আই where rod and cone cells are located is retina. A plant is kept in a dark cupboard for about 48 hours before conducting an experiment on photosynthesis to remove the dash from the plant, the starch. The part of the human eye where rod and cones are located is dash retina. A reflex arc in man is described as movement of stimuli from receptor cell, sensory neuron, relaying neuron, effector muscles. The reflex arc in man is described as movement of stimuli from receptor cell, sensory neuron, relaying neuron, effector muscles. NADP is expanded as nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. State the main function of the following. Chordate antennae connect the papillae muscles to the tricuspid valve and the mitral valve in the heart, thereby prevents rupturing of the flap of the valves. Lymphocytes produce antibodies and provide immunity to the body. In seminiferous tubules, sperms are produced. Thylakoids are the site for light reaction during photosynthesis. Beta cells of pancreas secrete the hormone insulin. Give the exact location of lenticels in the old trunk of woody trees. Lenticels in the old trunk of woody trees. In the old trunk of woody trees, prostate gland, a bilobed structure surrounding the urethra. Prostate gland, a bilobed structure surrounding the urethra. Thyroid gland, a butterfly shaped gland, is situated in front of the neck below the larynx. Thyroid gland, a butterfly shaped gland, is situated in front of the neck below the larynx. A centrosome situated next to the nucleus in the cytoplasm of animal cells. Centrosome situated next to the nucleus in the cytoplasm of animal cells. Mitral valve situated between the left atrium and left ventricle of the heart. Mitral valve situated between the left atrium and left ventricle of the heart. Write the following terms in logical sequence. Hmm. G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase, karyokinesis, cytokinesis. G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase, karyokinesis, cytokinesis. Next, renal artery, afferent arteriole, glomerulus, efferent arteriole, renal vein. Renal artery, afferent arteriole, glomerulus, efferent arteriole, renal vein. Identify the defect shown in the diagram. Long-sightedness or hypermetropia or hyperopia. Give two possible reasons for the above defect. Two flattening of lens, shortening of eyeball from front to back. Two short flattening of lens, shortening of eyeball from front to back. নেক্সট একটা কনভেক্স লেন্স এঁকেছে, দিয়ে ওটাকে কারেকশনটা এঁকে দিয়েছে, এই যে। Next question, match the following. A karyokinesis, S phase, cytokinesis, G1 phase, G2 phase. এটা কি হয়েছিল? G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase, karyokinesis, cytokinesis. পরেরটা ছিল রিনাল ভেইন, রিনাল আর্টারি, অ্যাফারেন্ট আর্টেরিওল, এফারেন্ট আর্টেরিওল, গ্লোমারুলাস। এটা কিসের উপর বলতে বলেছে? পাথওয়ে অফ ব্লাড থ্রু গ্লোমারুলাস। এটা হবে রিনাল আর্টারি, অ্যাফারেন্ট আর্টেরিওল, গ্লোমেরুলাস, ইফারেন্ট আর্টেরিওল, রিনাল ভেইন। কিন্তু তার পরেরগুলোর কেন ঠিক নেই? অ্যান্টিজেন, ব্যাকটেরিয়া, লিম্ফোসাইট, অ্যান্টিবডি, অ্যাক্টিভ ইমিউনিটি। অডিটারি ক্যানেল, টিম্পেনাম, ইয়ারোসিকেলস, ওভাল উইন্ডো, ককলিয়া। এই দুটোর কি ব্যাপার? ওভিউলেশন, ফার্টিলাইজেশন, ইমপ্লান্টেশন, জেস্টেশন, পার্টুরেশন। আর অডিটারি ক্যানেল, টিম্প্যানাম, ইয়ারোসিকেলস, ওভাল উইন্ডো, ককলিয়া। যাই হোক, আইডেন্টিফাই দ্য আই ডিফেক্ট শোন ইন দ্য ডায়াগ্রাম. The eye defect is long-sightedness or hyperopia. Are possible reasons to flattening of the lens, shortening of eyeball from front to back. দিয়ে ওই পুরোটার কারেকশনটাকে এঁকে দিয়েছে কনভেক্স লেন্স দিয়ে। ম্যাচ দ্য ফলোইং: পোটোমিটার, ট্রান্সপিরেশন, হাইপোথ্যালামাস, পিটিউটারি গ্ল্যান্ড, ফরমালিন, ডিসইনফেক্ট্যান্টস, contraception in males, vasectomy, mutation, sudden change in genes. Match the following: potometer, transpiration, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, formalin, disinfectant, contraception in males, vasectomy, mutation, sudden change in genes. এবার state the odd one out and category to which other three belong. Cell wall, large vacuole, plastid, centrosome. Odd one out is centrosome. Why? Because rest of the things are parts of plant cell. Next, cerebrum, cerebellum, thalamus, hypothalamus. Odd one out is cerebellum. Category: parts of forebrain. Ovary, ureter, fallopian tube, uterus. Odd one out is ureter. Category: parts of female reproductive system. Adrenal gland, liver, thyroid gland, pituitary gland. Odd one out is liver. Reason category: endocrine gland. Malleus, pinna, inca steps. Odd one out is pinna. Category: middle ear. Hemophilia, color blindness, albinism, night blindness. Odd one out is night blindness. Category: hereditary disease. Next, given below is an experimental setup of to demonstrate a particular process. Study the same and answer the following questions that follow. Name the physiological process being studied. Transpiration in plants. Explain the process mentioned above. Transpiration is the loss of water vapor from surface of plants, mainly from leaves. Next, what is the aim of the experiment? To compare transpiration on two sides or surfaces of dorsiventral leaf. What is the aim of the experiment? To compare transpiration on two sides or surfaces of dorsiventral leaf. Next, what would you observe in the experimental setup after an hour? Give reason to support your answer. After an hour, the paper on the lower surface of the leaf turns pink, whereas paper on the upper surface takes more time to do so. This proves that more transpiration takes place on the lower surface due to the presence of numerous stomata on it. Next, mention three adaptations found in plants to overcome the psychological process mentioned above. After an hour, the paper on the lower surface of the leaf turns pink, whereas paper on the upper surface takes more time to do so. This proves that more transpiration takes place on the lower surface due to the presence of numerous stomata on it. কি বলছে, what would you observe in the experimental setup after an hour? Give reason to support your answer. After an hour, the paper on the lower surface of the leaf turns pink, whereas paper on the upper surface takes more time to do so. This proves that more transpiration takes place on the lower surface due to the presence of numerous stomata on it. Next, mention 3 adaptations found in plants to overcome the psychological process mentioned above. Leaves with thick cuticles, shrunken stomata, leaves modified to spines. Leaves with thick cuticles, shrunken stomata, leaves modified to spines. Next, give biological or technical terms for the following. A membrane which allows the passage of molecules selectively permeable membrane. The suppressed allele of a gene, recessive structure that carries visual stimuli from retina to brain, optic nerve, the white blood corpuscles squeeze through the walls of capillaries into the tissue, diapedesis, protective coverings located around human brain and spinal cord, meninges, eye lens losing flexibility resulting in a kind of long-sightedness in elderly people. Presbyopia. Hormones which stimulate other endocrine glands to produce their specific hormones. Tropic hormone. The phase in menstrual cycle in which remnant of follicle in the ovary turns to corpus luteum. Luteal phase. Statistical study of human population demography. Artificially introducing weakened germs or germ substance into the body for developing resistance to a particular disease. Vaccination. Given below is the diagram of a cell as seen through the microscope after having been placed in a solution. What is the technical term used for the condition of the cell given above? Plasmolized cell. Give the technical term for the solution in which cell was placed. Hypertonic solution. Name the parts level 1 to 4. Nucleus, chloroplast, vacuole, cell sap. Nucleus, chloroplast, vacuole, cell sap. Is the cell given above a plant cell or animal cell? Give two reasons in support of your answer as evident from the diagram. In plant cell, because there are chloroplasts in the it is a plant cell. Because there are chloroplasts in the cell, the shape of a cell is hexagonal with cell wall. That is a plant cell. It is a plant cell because there are chloroplasts in the cell. The shape of the cell is hexagonal with cell wall. That is plant cell. Number 5. What should we do to bring this cell back to its original condition? We can place it in hypotonic solution or in water to bring it back to its original condition. We can place it in a hypotonic solution or in water to bring it back to original condition. Next, differentiate between following pairs on the basis of what is mentioned in brackets. Natality and mortality. Definition. Natality is the number of live births per 1000 individuals in population per year. Mortality is the number of deaths per 1000 individuals in the population per year. Stoma is a pore present in the epidermis of leaves. Stoma is pore present in epidermis of leaves. Stroma is a fluid in chloroplast containing enzymes that use ATP. Acromegaly is a chronic condition developing in adulthood due to oversecretion of growth hormone. Acromegaly is a chronic condition developing in adulthood due to oversecretion of growth hormone. Cretinism is a condition that results from inadequate secretion of thyroxine hormone during childhood. Cretinism is a condition that results from the inadequate secretion of thyroxine hormone during childhood. Transpiration takes place through stomata while guttation takes place through hydathodes. Diabetes mellitus is caused due to insufficient secretion of insulin. Diabetes insipidus is caused due to insufficient secretion of vasopressin. Next, this diagram shows the excretory system of human beings. Study the same and then answer the questions that follow. একটা ডায়াগ্রাম, তাতে পয়েন্ট আউট করেছে পার্টস লেভেল করেছে ভেনা কাভা, অ্যাওর্টা, লেফট রিনাল আর্টারি, লেফট রিনাল ভেইন, ureters. Next, ureters convey the urine from kidneys to bladder. তিনটে যে পার্ট লেভেল করেছে 1 2 3 4, ভেনা কাভা, অ্যাওর্টা, লেফট রিনাল আর্টারি, লেফট রিনাল ভেইন, আর ureters convey the urine from kidney to bladder. Urinary bladder is large sac in which urine is stored or collected temporarily. Sphincter controls the release of urine from the bladder. SPHINCT, a sphincter controls the release of urine from the bladder. Urethra let the urine drain from the bladder. আর কি বলছে, name the endocrine gland which can be added in the diagram and state its location and position. এটা একটা কিডনি ফিডনির ইয়ে দিয়েছে, সেটা এন্ডোক্রাইন গ্ল্যান্ডটাকে আঁকতে বলেছে। গ্ল্যান্ডটা হবে হচ্ছে অ্যাড্রিনাল গ্ল্যান্ড। It is located at the top of each kidney. Explain the following. Osmosis. Osmosis is the net movement of water molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Allele, a pair of genes that controls the two alternative expressions of the same character and has the same loci in homologous chromosomes, is called allele. The rhythmic contraction of heart is felt in certain areas like the wrist in the form of pulsations, and it is called pulse. Osmosis is the net movement of water molecules from a region of high concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. A pair of genes that controls two alternative expressions of the same character and has the same loci in homologous chromosomes is called allele. The rhythmic contraction of heart is felt in certain areas like wrist in the form of pulsation, and it is called pulse. Reflex action are involuntary actions controlled by the spinal cord. It is a rapid automatic response to stimulus. Reflex actions are involuntary actions controlled by spinal cord. It is a rapid automatic response to stimulus. Synapse is a junctional region between two neurons, axon endings of one neuron and the dendrites of another, where information from one neuron is transmitted or relayed by handed over to another neuron, but there is no protoplasmic connection between the two neurons. Synapse is a junctional region between two neurons, axon endings of one neuron and the dendrites of another, where information from one neuron is transmitted or relayed, handed over to another neuron, but there is no protoplasmic connection between the two neurons. Next question. Study the diagram given below and then answer the questions that follow. Name the parts level A. Name two hormones produced by part level A. Part level A হচ্ছে ovary. Ovary produces hormones like estrogen and progesterone. Name what happens to the part level B. Endometrium secretes nutrients. What happens to part level B if fertilization takes place? Fertilization হলে কি হয় তখন বলছে endometrium secretes nutrients in preparation for implantation. If fertilization does not take place তখন কি হয়? Fertilization does not take place, it degenerates or shed from the body. Where does fertilization occurs? Fertilization takes place in ampulla of fallopian tube. Fertilization takes place in the ampulla of the fallopian tube. Next, a homozygous plant having round R and yellow seeds is crossed with homozygous plants having wrinkled and green seeds. রাউন্ড হচ্ছে ক্যাপিটাল আর, ইয়েলো হচ্ছে ক্যাপিটাল ইয়েলো, হ্যাঁ রিঙ্কলড হচ্ছে স্মল আর অ্যান্ড গ্রিন হচ্ছে ওয়াই স্মল ওয়াই. Give the specific scientific name. Give the scientific name of the plant on which Mendel conducted this hybridization experiment. Pisum sativum. Give the genotype of the F1 generation. Capital R, small r, capital Y, small I, heterozygous. Give the dihybrid phenotypic ratio and the phenotype of the offspring of F2 generation when two parts of F1 generation are crossed. Hybrid phenotypic ratio 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. Phenotype of F2 generation 9 round and yellow, 3 round and green, 3 wrinkled and yellow, 1 wrinkled and green. Law of independent assortment: when more than one pair of contrasting characters are brought together in an individual, the entry of one pair of allele containing one character separates independently and assorts independently of one another pair of alleles during gamete formation. When more than one pair of contrasting characters are brought together in an individual, the entry of one pair of allele separates independently or assorts independently of any another pair of alleles during gamete formation. Next question. Give the possible combination of gametes that can be obtained from F1 hybrid. Capital T small t, or possible combination of gametes হচ্ছে capital R capital Y, capital R small r capital Y, small r small y. The diagram given below is an experiment conducted to study a factor necessary for photosynthesis. Observe the diagrams and then answer the following experiment. What is the aim of the experiment? To demonstrate that chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. Name the test performed on the leaf and solution used for the test. Start test. Iodine is used for the test. What type of leaf was used for the experiment? Give an example. Variegated leaf, for example. Give an example. VARIEGATED, variegated leaf. আর এক্সাম্পল হচ্ছে কোলিয়াস, COLEUS, variegated leaf. Example কোলিয়াস. Part A will turn brown, part B will turn blue black in color. Part A will turn brown, part B will turn blue black in color. এবার balanced chemical equation to represent the process of photosynthesis. 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. The diagram given below shows the cross section of two kinds of blood vessels. Identify the blood vessels A and B. In each case, give a reason to support your answer. A is artery, B is vein. Name the parts numbered 1 and 2. Endometrium আর lumen, আর বলছে কি A is artery, B is vein. The size of lumen A is narrower, so it is an artery. Size of lumen B is wider, so it is vein. Numbered parts 1 and 2. Endometrium are the endothelium আর lumen of the vessel. Part 1 and 2 কে লেবেল করেছে endothelium আর lumen of the vessel. When love and dub sounds produced during heartbeat, the love occurs due to the closure of anterioventricular valves. Dub sound occurs as the aortic and pulmonary valves close to prevent the backflow of blood. The sound love occurs due to closure of anterioventricular valves. Dub sound occurs as aortic and pulmonary valves close to prevent the backflow of blood. Next, name the blood vessel that begins and ends in capillaries, hepatic portal vein. Name the blood vessel that begins and ends in capillaries, hepatic portal vein. Name the blood vessel that supplies blood to walls of the heart, coronary arteries. So, name the blood vessel that supplies blood to the walls of the heart, coronary arteries. Answer the following. Draw a level diagram of neuron and name the following parts. Cyton, Nisil granules, node of Ranvier. এগুলোই হচ্ছে লেভেল ডায়াগ্রাম নিউরন, সাইটন, নিসিল গ্র্যানিউলস, নোড অফ র্যানভিয়ার। এবার Name the part of human brain which is concerned with the following: seat of memory, cerebrum; coordinates muscular activities, cerebellum. Mention any three major activities of who to collect and supply information about the occurrence of the diseases of epidemic nature such as plague, cholera, typhus, are to promote and support projects for research on diseases, to lay pharmaceutical standards for important drugs to ensure purity and size of the dose. Next, draw a draw a level diagram to show the metaphase stage of meiosis animal cells having four chromosomes. ওটা একটা ছবি এঁকেছে। মেনশন টু রিজনস ফর দ্য পপুলেশন এক্সপ্লোশন ইন ইন্ডিয়া: lack of education, desire to have a male child. Give biological reasons for the following: pituitary gland is known as master gland. Pituitary gland secretes many hormones which influence almost all the endocrine gland selection, so it is called master gland. Pituitary gland secretes many hormones which influence all the endocrine gland secretion, so it is called master glands. Gametes have a haploid number of chromosomes. Gametes form a result of meiotic cell division, so they contain half the normal number of chromosomes. Gametes have a haploid number of chromosomes. তার কারণ gametes form as a result of meiotic cell division, so they contain half the normal number of chromosomes. আর কি ড্র লেভেল ডায়াগ্রাম টু শো দ্য মেটাফেজ অফ মাইসিসে মেটাফেজটা এঁকেছে। যাই হোক, এবার ICC 2011 name the following the mineral element essential for the clotting of blood: Ca ions. The cells of the testes that produce male hormones, Leydig cells. The nutritive layer of the eye which also prevents reflection of light, choroid. The structural and functional unit of kidney, nephron. That part of the chloroplast where the light reaction takes place, grana, thylakoids. State the main function of the following: yellow spot magnifies the image and gives the brightest vision. Coronary arteries supply blood to the heart muscles. Medulla oblongata controls the activities of the internal organs. Thrombocytes form a clot at the site of the damage and prevents further blood loss. Vitreous humor helps in maintaining the shape of the eyeball and protects the retina and its nerve endings. Fill in the blanks. To test the leaf for stars, the leaf is boiled in water to kill the cells. It is next boiled in methylated spirit to remove the chlorophyll. The leaf is placed in warm water to soften it. It is then placed in a dish and iodine solution is added. The region which contains starch turns blue black and the region which does not contain starch turns brown. Give the exact location of the following. Hydatodes are found on the leaf margins of some plants. Organ of Corti are found in the middle canal of the inner ear. Mitral valve is found between left atrium and left ventricle of the heart. Pituitary gland is found at the base of brain. Amnion is the layer found within the amniotic cavity. State whether the following statements are true or false. If false, rewrite the correct form of statement by changing the first or last word. First এটা হচ্ছে নিউক্লিয়াস ইজ দ্য পার্ট অফ দ্য সেল ইন উইচ সেন্ট্রোজোমস আর প্রেজেন্ট। প্রথমেরটাই ভুল। লাইজোজোম ইজ আ পার্ট অফ সেল ইন উইচ ক্রোমোজোমস আর প্রেজেন্ট, ভুল। নিউক্লিয়াস ইজ দ্য পার্ট অফ সেল ইন উইচ ক্রোমোজোমস আর প্রেজেন্ট। Next, ureter carries urine from kidney to urinary bladder. Urethra নয়, ureter carries urine from kidney to urinary bladder. Centrosome is the organelle of the cell that initiates cell division. Implantation is the process of fixing the zygote to the uterine wall. Centrosome is the organelle of the cell that initiates cell division. Implantation is the process of fixing of zygote to the uterine wall. Penicillin obtained from Penicillium notatum is an antibiotic. Rewrite and complete the following sentences by inserting the correct word in the place indicated. Sal's vaccine is given to build up immunity against polio. Phenotype is the observable characteristic which is genetically controlled. Wooden doors swell up in rainy season due to imbibition. Wooden doors swell up in rainy season due to imbibition. The blood vessel that begins and ends in capillaries is hepatic portal vein. The blood vessel that begins and ends in capillaries is hepatic portal vein. Plasmolysis is the phenomena of contraction of cytoplasm from cell wall. Plasmolysis is the phenomena of contraction of cytoplasm from the cell wall. এবার study the diagram carefully and answer the question যে বোধহয় সেই ফ্যাগোসাইটোসিস ফিস হচ্ছে হ্যাঁ নেম দ্য সেল লেবেলড ইন ওয়ান আরবিসি আইডেন্টিফাই দ্য ফেনোমেনা অকারিং ইন এ ডায়াপেডেসিস হচ্ছে mention two structural difference between 1 and 2 মানে RBC WBC structural difference. RBC are minute red colored cells which have no nucleus. WBCs are comparatively bigger cells which have nucleus in the center. RBC are biconcave disc-like structure, flat in center, thick and round at periphery. WBC are amoeboid in shape and produce pseudopodia and can produce pseudopodia. Next, mention the process occurring in B and C and state the importance of this process in human body. Phagocytosis, removal of toxic waste from the body is called excretion. If the waste substances are not removed, they may poison the cells or slow down the metabolism of human body. Next, pacemaker. Pacemaker এর সাথে কি হবে? SA node, sinoatrial node, stroma, site of dark reaction, afferent nerve, transmits impulses from receptor organ to spinal cord, prolactin stimulates production of milk by the mammary gland, sacules associated with static body balance, pacemaker, SA node, stroma, site of dark reaction, afferent nerve, transmit impulses from receptor organ to spinal cord, prolactin stimulates production of milk by mammary gland, sacules associated with static body balance. Next, study the diagram given below and answer the questions that follow. Name the region in kidney where the above structure is present. Bowman's capsule is present in cortex of kidney. Name the parts labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. Renal, arteriole, মানে efferent arteriole, glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, renal, arteriole বা afferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole, afferent arteriole. দুটোই ইফারেন্ট অ্যাটেরিওল অ্যাফারেন্ট অ্যাটেরিওল গ্লোমেরুলাস অ্যান্ড বাউম্যানস ক্যাপসুল নেক্সট নেম দ্য স্টেজেস ইনভলভড ইন দ্য ফর্মেশন অফ ইউরিন আল্ট্রাফিল্ট্রেশন সিলেক্টিভ রিঅ্যাবজর্পশন অ্যান্ড টিউবুলার সিক্রেশন next number 4 what is the technical term given to the process occurring in 2 and 3 briefly describe the process. Ultrafiltration in glomerulus involves the filtration of very fine and small molecules. Water and small solutes are filtered out while all solids and large molecules are retained. Give reason for the following. Photosynthesis is considered as a process supporting all life on earth. Photosynthesis is a process by which green plants prepare food. All animals depend directly or indirectly on the plants for food. All the food chains begins with plants. Next, a matured mammalian erythrocyte lacks nucleus and mitochondria. Cano lack of nucleus makes RBC biconcave, which is suitable to absorb more oxygen. Absence of mitochondria helps the RBC to transport maximum oxygen to the tissues of the body cell. Lack of nucleus makes RBC biconcave, which is suitable to absorb more oxygen. Absence of mitochondria helps RBC to transport maximum oxygen to the tissues of the body cell. Next, potato cubes when placed in water become firm and increase in size. Due to osmosis, the cells in potato cubes absorb water and become turgid and firm. As a result, they also increase in size. Next, number 5. 4. Urine is slightly thicker in summer than in winter. In summer, the water diffuses out from our body through the skin. As a result, the urine contains slightly higher concentration of salts. In hilly region where iodine is deficient in soil, the food grown also contains less quantity of iron. So people suffer from simple goiter. Next, study the diagram given below and answer the questions that follow. Name the cells of pancreas that produce glucagon and insulin. Alpha cells of Langerhans, মানে islet of Langerhans secrete the hormone glucagon, while beta cells secrete the hormone insulin. Glucagon converts glycogen to glucose. Insulin lowers blood glucose level and induces protein synthesis. Pancreas is an exocrine gland, secretes pancreatic juice and pours it into the duodenum. And endocrine gland also secretes hormone insulin, glucagon, and somatostatin. Hormones are secreted and poured directly into the blood. So insulin is also injected into the blood. Mm, Pancreas is located behind the stomach. The question গুলো কি, name the cells of pancreas that produce glucagon and insulin. Glucagon হচ্ছে islet of Langerhans, মানে alpha cells of Langerhans secrete the hormone glucagon, while beta cells secrete the hormone insulin. State the function of glucagon and insulin. Glucagon converts glycogen to glucose. Insulin lowers blood glucose level and induces protein synthesis. Next, why is the pancreas referred to as exoendocrine gland? Pancreas is an exocrine gland that secretes pancreatic juice and pours it into duodenum. And endocrine gland secretes hormones insulin, glucagon, and somatostatin. Next, why is insulin not given orally but is injected into the body? Hormones are secreted and poured directly into the blood, so insulin is also injected into the blood. Next, what is the technical term for the cells of pancreas that produce endocrine hormone? Islet of Langerhans. Where is the body where in the body is pancreas located? Pancreas is located behind the stomach. With reference to the functioning of eye, answer the questions that follow. What is meant by power of accommodation of the eye? The adjustment of the eye for a clear vision of objects at varying distances is called power of accommodation of the eye. What is the shape of lens during near vision and distant vision? The object when the object is near, the lens bulges and becomes rounded, that is convex. When the object is far, on a distant vision, the lens becomes flat and thin. Next, name the two structures in the eye responsible for bringing about change in the size of the lens. Ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments. Two structures, ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments. Name the cell of retina and their respective pigments which get activated in the dark and in light. The cells of retina are rods and cones. Rods are important for night vision or in dark. These pigments are called rhodopsin. Cones are sensitive to bright light and the pigments are called iodopsin. Rods are important for night vision or in dark. These pigments are called rhodopsin. Cones are sensitive to bright light and the pigments are called iodopsin. Next, the diagram below represents circulation in human body. Answer the questions that follow. Name the blood vessels level 1, 3, 6 and 7. Pulmonary vein 1, hepatic portal vein 3, 6 hepatic vein, 7 posterior vena cava. Name the blood vessel that supplies walls of heart with oxygen, coronary arteries. Draw a neat level diagram of the blood vessel number 2 as seen in cross section. এটা একটা lumen দিয়ে এটা আঁকা. Mention one structural difference between blood vessels number 4 and 5. Renal artery has thick, elastic, and muscular wall. Renal vein has thin, less muscular wall and wide lumen. Renal artery has thick, elastic, and muscular wall. Renal vein has thin, less muscular wall and wide lumen. With reference to human eye, answer the questions that follow. Give the technical term for the structure found in inner ear, cochlea, and semicircular canals. Name the three small bones present in middle ear. What is the biological term for them collectively? Three small bones present in middle ear are malleus incustes. They are collectively called ear ossicles. Name the part of ear associated with static balance, hearing, and dynamic balance. Static balance, hearing, dynamic balance. Static balance, saculus and utriculus. Hearing হচ্ছে organ of corti. Dynamic balance হচ্ছে three semicircular canals. Static balance, saculus and utriculus. Hearing হচ্ছে organ of corti আর dynamic balance হচ্ছে three semicircular canals. Name the nerve which transmits the messages from ear to brain. Auditory nerve. The diagram below represents two reproductive cells A and B. Study the same and then answer the questions that follow. Identify the reproductive cells A and B. Uh, A is ovum, B is sperm. A is ovum মানে female gamete, B is sperm মানে male gamete. Name the specific part of reproductive system where the above cells are produced. Ova is produced in ovaries of female organism where sperms are produced in testes of male organisms. Ovum is A is ovum, B is sperm. Ova is produced in ovaries of female organism where sperms are produced in testes of male organisms. See, name the specific part of reproductive system where the above cells are produced in fallopian tube. Where is female reproductive system? Where in the female reproductive system do this cell unite? The main hormones secreted by ovary are progestin in the fallopian tube. Can name the specific part of reproductive system where the above cells are produced? Fallopian tube is produced. Where in the female reproductive system do this cell unite? Reproductive, bhul. Identify, name the specific part of reproductive system where above cells are produced. Ova are produced in ovaries of female organisms where sperms are produced in testes of male organism. Ova is produced in ovaries of female organisms, sperms are produced in testes of male organism. তারপরের কোয়েশ্চেনটা বলছে নেম দ্য স্পেসিফিক পার্ট অফ রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ সিস্টেম where the above cells are produced in fallopian tube. Where is the না ওই ওভা প্রডিউসড ইন ফিমেল অর্গানিজম স্পার্ম produces testes in male organism এটার আনসার where is the female reproductive where in the female reproductive system do this cell unite সেইটা হবে in fallopian tube. And name the main hormone secreted by ovary and testes. The main hormone secreted by ovary are progesterone and estrogen. Estrogen and progesterone are the hormone secreted by testes is testosterone. Next, name an accessory gland found in male reproductive system. State the function of the secretion. Prostate gland. Accessory gland টা হচ্ছে prostate gland found in male reproductive system. The function is function of its secretion. Prostate gland, it pours an alkaline selection to the semen that activates the sperms and prevents from sticking. Prostate gland হচ্ছে name the accessory gland found in the male reproductive system. The function of its secretion. Prostate gland pours an alkaline secretion into the semen that activates the sperm and prevents them from sticking. Next, the diagram below represents a layer of epidermal cells showing a fully grown root hair. Study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. Name the parts labeled A, B, C, D. A. Cell wall, B. Plasma membrane, C. Cytoplasm, D. Nucleus. Next, The root hair cell is in a turgid state. Name and explain the process that caused the state. Endomosis. Endomosis is the inward movement of water through a semi-permeable membrane when the endosmosis is the inward movement of water through a semi-permeable membrane when the solution surrounding the cell is of lower concentration. Endosmosis is the inward movement of water through a semi-permeable membrane when the solution surrounding the cell is of lower concentration. Next question. Mention one distinct difference between parts A and B. The cell wall is thin and permeable, so it allows the movement of dissolved substances freely in and out of the cell. Cell membrane is semi-permeable, which does not allow the larger molecules to pass through. Cell wall is thin and permeable, so it allows the movement of dissolved substances freely in and out of the cell. Cell membrane is semi-permeable, which does not allow the larger molecules to pass through. Next, draw a diagram of the above root hair cell as it would appear when a concentrated solution of fertilizer is added near it. Root hair in concentrated solution. Name the parts labeled 1, 2, 3. Aster, spindle fibers, chromatids. Name the parts labeled 1, 2, 3. Aster, spindle fiber, chromatids. Identify the above stage and give reason to support your answer. Late anaphase of mitosis. Cytokinesis starts with dividing cytoplasm. Late anaphase of mitosis. Cytokinesis starts with dividing cytoplasm. Mention where in the body this type of cell division occurs. This type of cell division occurs in somatic cells of animals. Name the stage prior to this stage and draw a diagram to represent the stage. Metaphase. Stage prior to this stage and draw a diagram to represent the same. Metaphase. Study the diagram given below. Answer the questions that follow. Name the process being studied in the above experiment. Water is lost during transpiration. Explain the process mentioned above. Transpiration is the loss of water from aerial parts of plant in form of water vapor. Why is oil placed over water? Oil is placed over water to avoid evaporation from water surface. What do we observe with regard to the level of water when this setup is placed in bright sunlight, humid conditions and windy day? The water যখন ব্রাইট সানলাইটে দেওয়া হয় তখন ওয়াটার লেভেল ডিক্রিজেস, যখন হিউমিড কন্ডিশনে দেওয়া হয় তখন ওয়াটার লেভেল রিমেইনস আনচেঞ্জড, আর যখন উইন্ডি দিয়ে দেওয়া হয় দ্য ওয়াটার লেভেল ডিক্রিজেস স্পিডিলি. Next question. Mention 3 adaptations found in plants to overcome the process mentioned above. Leaves with thick cuticle, leaves modified to spines, sunken stomata. Leaves thick with cuticle, leaves modified to spines or sunken stomata. During a street fight between two individuals, mention the effects on following organs. The autonomous nervous system in the table given below. Organ তা হচ্ছে লাংস, এটা সিম্প্যাথেটিক নার্ভাস সিস্টেম বিকজ ইট ডায়ালেটস ব্রঙ্কি অ্যান্ড ব্রঙ্কিউলস, আর প্যারাসিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেম হচ্ছে কন্ট্রিক্টস ব্রঙ্কিউলস ব্রঙ্কি অ্যান্ড ব্রঙ্কিউলস. সিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেমে ডায়ালেটস ব্রঙ্কি অ্যান্ড ব্রঙ্কিউলস, আর প্যারাসিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেম হচ্ছে কনস্ট্রিক্টস ব্রঙ্কি অ্যান্ড ব্রঙ্কিউলস. এবার অর্গ্যানটাও যখন হার্ট, তখন সিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেমে কি হবে? হার্ট রেট ইনক্রিজেস. প্যারাসিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেমে কি হবে? হার্ট রেট ডিক্রিজেস. অর্গ্যানটা যখন পিউপিল অফ দ্য আই, তখন সিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেমে কি হবে? পিউপিল ডায়ালেটস. প্যারাসিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেমে কি হবে? পিউপিল কনস্ট্রিক্টস. অর্গ্যানটা যখন স্যালাইভারি গ্ল্যান্ড, তখন সিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেমে কি হবে? স্যালাইভেশন ডিক্রিজেস. প্যারাসিম্প্যাথেটিক সিস্টেমে কি হবে? স্যালাইভেশন ইনক্রিজেস. এবার functions of Red Cross. It provides relief and helps the victims of calamity such as flood, earthquake, famine, fire, etc. It gives first aid to all wounded soldiers during war. Red Cross extends all possible first aid in case of any accident. Red Cross trains the personnel in first aid and related skills. It trains the personnel in first aid and related skills. Red Cross looks after the mother and child welfare schemes. Write down the difference between the following pairs and indicated within the brackets. Antiseptic Dettol, disinfectant phenol. Erythrocytes transport the oxygen to different organs of the body. Leukocytes produce antibodies which isolate dead tissues, foreign bodies, and bacteria. In guttation, the water drops ooze out through special marginal structures called hydatodes. In bleeding, the exudation of sap takes place from injured parts of the plant. In guttation, the water drops ooze out through special marginal structures called hydatodes. In building, the exudation of sap takes place from injured parts of the plant. NADP is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate aids হচ্ছে acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Monohybrid cross হচ্ছে 3:1, dihybrid cross হচ্ছে 9:3:3:1.